Most people think a truck stop is just a gas station with a bigger parking lot. A place to fill up, grab a coffee, maybe use the bathroom, and get back on the road. But here's the truth. Some of these places have chapels. Some have dentists. Some have on-site barbers, gyms, movie theaters, and even chiropractors. There are truck stops in America bigger than some small-to-town shopping malls, employing hundreds of people, running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year, including Christmas. You've probably driven past dozens of these places on road trips without ever realizing what's actually happening inside. In this video, I'm going to show you the hidden economy running inside America's truck stops, the services nobody talks about, the money changing hands you'd never expect, and the surprising reason these places exist at all. Let's start with the most basic question. Why does a gas station need to be this complicated? The answer comes down to one number. There are around 3.5 million truck drivers in the US, and a huge share of them are on the road for weeks at a time. That's not a customer base you serve with a cash register and a hot dog roller. That's a customer base that needs an entire ecosystem, because for these drivers, the truck stop isn't a quick stop. It's their grocery store, their gym, their laundromat, their barbershop, and sometimes their church, all rolled into one building off exit 47 in the middle of nowhere. Major chains like Pilot Flying J, Love's, and Todd Travel Centers of America figured this out decades ago, and they built accordingly. The average large travel center today can span over 20 acres. That's roughly the size of 15 football fields, just for one location. And inside that footprint, you'll typically find fuel islands for well over 100 trucks at once, a full-service restaurant, a convenience store the size of a small supermarket, private shower suites, and a dedicated trucker lounge with recliners and televisions. But here's where it gets genuinely surprising. Some of the larger locations go far beyond the basics. There are truck stops with fully staffed medical clinics, offering everything from basic checkups to vaccinations, because a driver who gets sick on the road doesn't have the luxury of scheduling an appointment back home. Several locations across the country have licensed chiropractors on site, specifically because sitting for 11 hours a day destroys a driver's back over time. A handful even have small non-denominational chapels, staffed by chaplains who specifically work the trucking ministry circuit, driving between locations to offer counsel to drivers who haven't seen their families in weeks. Now let's talk about the money, because this is where the hidden economy really shows itself. A single truck can burn through 150 to 200 gallons of diesel in a week. At today's prices, that's often more than $700 spent at fuel pumps per truck per week. Multiply that by the hundreds of trucks passing through a single major location every single day, and you start to understand why some of these truck stops post annual revenues in the tens of millions of dollars, rivaling a mid-sized regional airport in terms of daily foot traffic and spending. And the loyalty programs built around this spending are more sophisticated than most people realize. Pilot Flying J's reward system lets drivers earn points on every gallon of fuel, which convert into free showers, free coffee, and discounts on food. Some of the biggest fleets negotiate direct contracts with these chains, locking in fuel discounts of several cents per gallon, which sounds small until you realize that across a fleet of a few hundred trucks running year-round, that adds up to millions of dollars in savings annually. Here's something else most people never consider. Truck stops are also, quietly, one of the largest informal job markets connected to the trucking industry. Beyond the direct employees, the cashiers, the cooks, the shower attendants, many locations host mobile mechanics, tire repair crews, and even mobile notaries who specifically work the truck stop circuit. Because drivers often need paperwork notarized on the road and simply can't get to a bank during business hours. But maybe the most unexpected part of this whole hidden world is security. With cargo loads worth tens of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars sitting in trailers overnight, the largest truck stops have invested heavily in surveillance, some running dozens of cameras across a single lot. With security patrols and even license plate recognition systems that alert staff if a suspicious vehicle has been circling the lot repeatedly. It's less like a gas station and more like a small, privately run town with its own police force. Now here's a problem almost nobody outside the industry knows exists, and it's arguably the most stressful part of a driver's entire day: finding a parking spot. It sounds almost too simple to be a real issue, but according to industry surveys, the US is short by roughly 300,000 truck parking spaces nationwide compared to the number of drivers who need overnight parking every single night. That means on any given evening, A driver might spend 30 minutes to an hour just circling a truck stop lot, hoping someone pulls out before their legally mandated rest period forces them to stop wherever they happen to be, even if that's the shoulder of an exit ramp. Because remember, federal hours of service rules don't care whether you found a parking spot. Once a driver's clock runs out, the truck has to stop, parking spot or not. This has created what insiders call the 4 p.m. rush. Experienced drivers know that if they haven't claimed a spot by mid-afternoon, especially near major cities or holiday weekends, they might not find one at all that night. Some drivers plan entire routes around known safe lots rather than the most efficient path, sacrificing miles and pay just to guarantee somewhere to sleep. And this scarcity has created its own strange culture. Regular drivers who run the same routes week after week become familiar faces at the same truck stops, building informal friendships with the staff and with other drivers they see over and over again. Some describe their regular stop almost like a second workplace, with a cashier who remembers their order, a shower attendant who saves them a favorite stall, and a handful of familiar rigs parked in roughly the same spots night after night. During holidays, when family visits aren't possible mid-route, some of these truck stops even host informal potluck dinners in the driver's lounge of strangers who become something like co-workers, sharing a Thanksgiving meal 1,000 miles from home. So the next time you pull off the highway and see one of these sprawling lots full of idling trucks, know that you're not just looking at a place to refuel. You're looking at a small, self-sufficient city built entirely around keeping a few hundred exhausted strangers fed, clean, safe, and back on the road all before sunrise. Now I want to hear from you. If you're a trucker, what's the best or strangest truck stop you've ever stopped at? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you've never worked in trucking, which one of these surprised you the most? The chapel, the chiropractor, or the security system? If you learned something today, hit like and subscribe to the channel, please. There's a whole lot more where this came from. Thanks for watching, and I'll see